So welcome back guys to Resident Evil Revelations. This time we're going to go through the whole of episode 1.
This sunny and idyllic Mediterranean coast was the site of one of the world's greatest structures. It took a full 11 years to finish constructing the world's first Aquapolis, the floating city of Terra Grigia. A sustainable metropolis operating on a massive solar energy matrix and equipped with the latest green technologies. Never before had solar energy been used to supply power to an entire city. But in 2004, Veltro, a terrorist group opposing the city's development, launched a bioterrorist attack. They not only released a virus, but also several creatures, known as bioorganic weapons, further complicating the situation. This launched one of the worst tragedies the world has ever seen. The FBC, the world's leading counter-bioterror organization operating under the auspices of the US, was called in to direct efforts to contain the attack. The BSAA, a counter-bioterror NGO, which operates independently of the interests of any one country, went in as observers to assist the FBC. Realizing the need for immediate and decisive action, Supreme Local Headquarters issued the order to use the city's solar energy matrix on itself. Media outlets around the world began to refer to the incident as the Terra Grigia Panic. Following the incident, the FBC announced it has successfully disbanded the terrorist group called Veltro. It is now 2005, and a sense of calm and security is finally returning to the people. But, as you can see, the lost city of Terra Grigia remains inaccessible, a silent and potent symbol of the threat that bioterror poses for people around the world.
So here we're going to meet Clive R. O'Brien, the first director of the BSAA and one of the original 11 founding members.
Ah, there you two are.
O'Brien, you don't normally join the fray.
Well, my doctor told me I need exercise. I assume you both know that the FBC has cordoned off the entire area. However, in the past few weeks, a number of mysterious carcasses have washed up.
I guess the FBC couldn't cover up a mess this big, huh?
Anyone who knows what happened here is gonna put two and two together.
And that's why I've sent the BSAA in to investigate. Did you pick up your new equipment from Quint?
The, Genesis or something. Is that its name?
You didn't bother to read the manual, did you?
No, I brought it with me, just in case.
I hope you read quickly, because you're gonna need it on your mission.
Yeah, I'm on it.
So this first file is just about the Genesis scanner. I only really intend covering the important files, so we'll just skip this one. So the beach, as you can see, is full of strange corpses. These creatures are called globsters and are an irregular mutation of the T-Abyss virus.
Ah, look at this mess. Oh, they're rotted to hell.
Skin so pale. I've never seen anything like it.
Use the Genesis to get a reading on it.
They're essentially just large mounds of rotting flesh.
The Genesis requires a decent sample size to get an accurate reading. Scan the carcasses on the beach and send me your data.
Have a look at this.
I'm getting something from inside it.
Careful now.
Don't worry, I've done this before.
base organism, believe it or not, for these things are actually humans. What happened was the survivors of the Queen Dido stuck at the ocean floor injected themselves continuously with the T. abyss virus to try and stay alive. This resulted in these strange mutations, which are different to regular ooze, and they eventually escaped the ship and washed up on this beach.
What is this? If it's an engineered mutation, this could prove a link.
I'll run some tests on this. Continue with the investigation.
I mean, as you can see, they have no discernible human characteristics left, no limbs, no skeletal structure, just a large mouth with teeth. And although they don't look like much now, they are dangerous when underwater. You can see all the dead fish on the beach here, and the ruins of Terra Grigia several miles out. You know, this is quite an idyllic looking coastal town on an island, but given its close proximity to Terra Grigia, what happened last year has left it pretty much abandoned. Terra Grigia itself was constructed in 1993, it took 11 years to build and was finished in 2004. It was a very controversial project, highly expensive, very technologically advanced and completely self-sustaining, and that's why groups such as Veltro opposed its construction. Veltro are essentially patriotic activists, you know, originally a student group that became radicalised and jingoistic, and they opposed the city's development, seeing it as just another symbol of modern human society becoming even more corrupt. This level obviously takes place a couple of hours before Jill and Parker reach the Queen Zenobia, just to give us a bit more background exposition.
We need more samples to run an analysis. Give me a few more.
Do like O'Brien.
It moves!
Lobsters have no intelligence, but they will attack things indiscriminately.
Don't worry, we're on it.
And as you can tell, their weak spot is obviously the mouth. They are big bullet sponges as well, they take a lot of damage.
After Raccoon City, this must be a cakewalk.
I suppose. So why'd you quit the FBC for this outfit?
I wanted to be more involved. I wanted to fight.
I see you two are okay. Continue with the investigation, but proceed with extreme caution.
Ugh, that smell. Must have ruptured from gas.
Christ, what a mess.
So the reason the beach is cordoned off at all actually links back to a piece of viral marketing that came out just before the original game was released on the 3DS. It was a live action video and depicted a family walking along the beach, and the little kid comes across a strange mound of flesh, which actually turns out to be part of a globster. Morgan Lansdale obviously arrived with the FBC and cordoned off the whole thing. He obviously recognised the globster mutation as being from the T. abyss virus. And all of that, coupled with Clive O'Brien and the BSAA's fake Veltro revival plan, has made him panic. Panic enough to believe that there was potentially Veltro survivors still on the Queen Dido at the bottom of the ocean floor. So several hours from now, an FBC armed team will head down to the Dido to look for survivors, and of course they will meet Jack Norman, who is the leader of Veltro, and several of his men who are still alive, and they are all killed. I think we have enough now.
I've collected enough samples.
Good. Get them to me ASAP.
This newspaper is quite interesting. As you can see there, it says it's the first article bringing the existence of BOWs to the public. That might seem strange given on what happened with Raccoon City, but you have to remember that whole area was sealed off by the government. And although videos were taken inside the city by the UBCS, they were sort of carefully edited to make sure no BOWs were shown. And they were used as propaganda videos to depict the UBCS rescuing the civilians, painting a good picture of Umbrella, and this was all done to buy Umbrella enough time to delay the sterilisation operation by the government so they could get the G-Virus out of the city. So Brian's about to receive a phone call here, but it's not BSAA headquarters he's speaking to, it's actually Raymond Vesta.
Enough chit-chat. Get that sample data to me.
There you are. Nice work.
No doubt about it. These corpses show signs of viral infection.
And I bet it's no coincidence they came through the FBC's blockade.
Well, we did all we can. Now, we wait for the results to come back from HQ. Huh? It's the emergency line. Yeah, it's me. Uh-huh. What? Yes, that's fine. I'll take it from here. We'll have to speed things up. Starting now. Uh-huh. Good. Get to it. Jill, Parker, you two are still on the case.
What happened?
We lost contact with Chris and Jessica.
When? How?
We're not certain. I've sent their last known coordinates to your terminals.
The signal was lost over the ocean. I thought they were in the mountains chasing Veltro. But judging from their position, they must be...
on a ship. I'll go back to HQ, take charge of the search and rescue. You two will be my eyes out there.
Yes, sir.
So that phone call there was actually by Vesta telling O'Brien that he's arrived at the Queen Zenobia and he's getting everything ready for Jill and Parker to come to the ship. The fake transponder signal from Chris and Jessica there is obviously a lure to get them to the ship. Let's just crack on.
Think these things got to Chris and Jessica?
I hope not.
Hey, no one's saying Chris is dead.
All right, then let's find him already.
You hear that? Was that the lock?
I'll check it out.
Okay, I'll see what I can find here.
Copy that. I'll radio you if I pick up Chris's trail.
Christ, these things... No, it can't be.
This thing has a lot of similarities to the corpses on the beach.
So we're about to get our first glimpse of the infamous fake Chris dummy. And this, of course, is one of the first clues that tells us that not everything is as it seems on this ship.
Chris! Chris! Come on, say something! I found Chris, but he's trapped in there.
Can you get him out?
No, it's a tough lock. I need the key.
Okay, then let's find it.
So basically what's happening, after Lansdale killed all his own research team, he became the only person that knew about the location of the Queen Zenobia. And ever since then he's had it on an automated course around the Mediterranean so no one could find it. The emergence of the supposed Veltro revival has made him panic enough into letting Raymond Vesta know where the ship is and then sending him there to see if there's any possible Veltro survivors. Stand by. Obviously telling Vesta about the location of the ship was a bit of a gamble because it's the only source of the T-Abyss virus. And once Vesta's got there, what we don't actually see in game is that he breaks the radar and communications equipment and steers the ship away from the Queen Semiramis and off onto a different path, which means Lansdale himself has lost track of the ship. This buys Vesta enough time to set up the whole charade of Chris Redfield being captured and luring Jill and Parker to the ship. And the reason he lures Jill and Parker to the ship is for them to find incriminating evidence that Morgan Lansdale is in fact part responsible for the whole Terra Grigia panic. I'll go into the reasons later on of why Morgan Lansdale would want to cause such an incident, but it links into a number of hidden subplots, including the involvement of Excelligione and Tricell. As I'm sure you're all aware, Raymond Vesta is secretly a Tricell agent, and one of his missions is to recover a sample of T-Abyss for the virus.
What's going on?
I found a survivor. The BOW's got her, though.
Who was she?
I'm still trying to piece that together.
This, of course, is Rachel Foley. Rachel was sent with Raymond Vesta as his partner, but she doesn't really have any real idea of what's going on here. Prior to her death, she was exploring the ship, found the UAV used by Veltro on the foredeck, the UAV Veltro used in the Terra Grigia panic. And then she obviously didn't get very far before she was killed by Ooze.
Parker, I couldn't find anything out on the woman, but I did find a key.
Let's try it out. I'll meet you in the Chris's room. See you there.
Rachel obviously didn't get very far, and her demise can be seen on a small trailer that came with the in the build-up to the 3DS release of the game. Noticed how that ooze came out of the washing machine there. That's partly because these creatures are attracted to water. One trait of the virus is they will try to absorb as much water and nutrients as possible. That's part of the reason why they look like drowned, sort of waterlogged corpses. Shit. So basically, this whole game is essentially one big chess game between Morgan Lansdale and Clive O'Brien. They each use their respective agents under their command as pawns, with some playing more important chess pieces than others. You might wonder why Clive O'Brien didn't at least let Chris and Jill know about the fake Veltro revival plan. And that's because he knew there was a mole inside the BSAA and he couldn't afford to let any knowledge of the Veltro revival being fake getting back to Morgan Lansdale.
Chris! Chris? What is this?
Oh, great. It's a trap!
So obviously Jill and Parker believe the Veltro revival is real as well, and in order to solidify that fact, Raymond Vesta is playing the part of Veltro. His plan isn't to harm Jill and Parker, his plan is to let them live long enough and hopefully uncover irrefutable proof that Lansdale had been collaborating with Veltro all along. So thanks again guys, we'll leave it there. If you have any questions about what's going on, leave it in the comments section or on the PU Podcast Facebook page. and I'll appear again with another video very soon. Thank you.